Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right, folks. Man, you know I'm about to say it. Another beautiful day forward in our new high vibrational frequency paradigm. Man, it's a little gray, but let me tell you what you don't know if you don't feel it, because you're not here. It's a lot warmer than is typical of this point in the season, right? This is the last day of December. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For anybody who hasn't been here around this time of year or doesn't know anybody from here, it's typically quite cold. and it's really not, man. It feels like an early fall day, right? Quite comfortable. All right, so thank you all for checking me out once again. I love you all as always. Man, let's continue, please, to build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect, right? Please like, share, subscribe. Please share the channel with the folks that you know, even folks you may not know. And let's continue to build this worldwide movement. All right, I'm going to try and be concise and get right to this. The title of this is New Energy, Determine Your Own Fate, Write Your Own Prophecy. All right, folks, a couple of things we need to establish right away in this. Number one is that this is indeed a new energy, right? We are starting from a blank slate, right? We really are. This is an unprophesized time. This is that new calendar that the Mayans had begin after the end of the old, that everyone had such a doomsday feeling about, right? Oh, the Mayan calendar's ending. True indeed. It signified the ending of the old paradigm. That's what that was really about, right? And this is the new paradigm, our new world that we are literally forging as we go right now. That's the new energy. That is where we are at. I've gone into detail scientifically about what is happening on this planet, in this particular area of the galaxy, or this particular portion of our solar system's orbit around the center of the galaxy, or for those who want to refer to it astrologically, in this particular house that we're in, right, of the 12 houses. And this energy is incredibly transformative, incredibly powerful, and is exponentially enhancing our impact of manifestation upon our reality, right? We always had impact on our reality, but we had dimensional constraints, right? We were, I don't want to use the word trapped, but we were only developed to the level of linearity, which exists in 3D, 4D reality, right? We have now entered a multi-dimensional existence. Some will refer to as a fifth dimensional existence, right? Now, doesn't mean that everyone is able to perceive that. Let me explain a little bit what I mean. Scientifically, once again, we know that our two eyes, our two front-facing eyes, can only optically decipher a very small fraction of the electromagnetic scale, of the actual electromagnetic experience that we are immersed in, right? So there's a myriad of things going on right in front of our faces energetically that we simply cannot see, right? Folks, this is when we start referring to a correlation between science's dimensional discoveries, which are, if you're not keeping up with it, growing like almost daily. The science world is booming in quantum discoveries, right? That are the results of incredible experiments that are being done daily, right? Like literally. And the results of which are literally rewriting the physics books. Newtonian physics simply no longer apply. Now, when I say that, let me rephrase that. It's not that they no longer apply. They can be referred to as a basis, right? Or like a root. But they are not the extent of physics, right? Science is now understanding and learning, which they have long had clues to, right? We're talking about experiments going back into the 30s and 40s that have given some clues as to the impact of consciousness on physics, right? And now they are in fact finding out that consciousness is a major player in the realm of physics, right? And specifically, getting back to where we are right now, at this point in the galaxy with these energies that we are being exposed to, that is, again, exponentially, almost unfathomably enhanced, right? Folks, you are literally writing your lives every day. You wake up, and whatever you wake up with, right? Whatever you've determined in your mind, in your heart, that your day is going to be, in some way, shape, or form, it will be that. Literally. Not, oh, it sort of resembled that. No, literally, it will be that. So, on an even daily basis, we control, we determine our own fate. We are writing our own prophecy every single day. So with that, it's then incumbent upon us to determine what we want our life to look like, right? What kind of reality are we going to manifest? Now, again, it's only a certain percentage of the population that will even be able to perceive this. Because if you are not in a high enough vibrational frequency place of resonance, your ability to perceive multidimensional things will be limited, because your thinking, your perception will be linear. It's still in a 3D, 4D paradigm, which is linear. But if you are beginning to find, right, that you are perceiving more than what is our typical linear perception, then you are beginning to open up to that multidimensionality that I'm referring to. And your ability to manifest consciously now becomes in play, right? When you're able to perceive that this is now a multidimensional electromagnetic existence that we are living, and that we are in fact electromagnetic beings with a biosphere that is directly impactful upon the quantum field that connects, impacts, and influences every particle of existence. Your consciousness is a major player in that. All right? Folks, we should be incredibly empowered. Incredibly empowered. We have got to, those who choose, should I say, because free will is always key, right? Those who choose to move into that multi-dimensional perception, you've got to let go of linear thought, linear limitations, right? Things like the victim mentality. It's very real, folks. When you feel like life is happening to you and that there are circumstances and events that majorly shape your life that you have absolutely no control over, that's an affect of the victim mentality, right? Because in fact, when you have a much different mentality, right? A mentality that affords you the perception of a multi-dimensional reality in which you in fact have great impact and influence, then your ability to maintain a greater level of control in your life manifests greatly. With that, though, comes responsibility. And I think here's where collectively we've fallen short. We've gotten very used to, as a society, just sort of saying, in regard to the quote-unquote ills of our society, which are the problems, the major problems that have plagued us, right? Up until today, I'm talking about things like war and famine and health issues that we really shouldn't have. You know, all the isms, right? These are constructs of the old paradigm that we can now spiritually mature and move out of. We do not have to stay, and in fact, as a civilization, folks, as a civilization, should not stay stagnant. We should always be progressing forward. And now the solutions, the viable solutions, that many of which have actually been hinted at or even offered, only to be quelled by those whose interest it is to keep such things hidden or not known by the masses. These solutions are available to us in a multi-dimensional form, if you will say, right? Or in a very multi-dimensional setting. And a lot of these ideas will be resurfacing. And there'll be new ideas coming from this newer generation and those behind it, right? We have to embrace that. We cannot keep saying, oh, no, the world just doesn't work that way. We determine how the world works. And if these cyclical systems, these new ideas will better our existence and lead us into a position of solving these long-held problems, we've got to embrace those ideas and let go of these old constructs of the old paradigm that have held us back from doing so. Right? You know, the geniuses of the world, the real geniuses, in my estimation, you know, folks who have offered solutions. You know, I mentioned in my book Nikola Tesla, and I talk a little bit about I forget his name offhand, but the inventor in Ohio who came up with, you know, an engine that works off of hydrogen oxide, water, effectively. You know, and there's been tons of other inventions and suggestions to directions of technology that have been suppressed, held back, and in some cases downright, you know, folks have been killed about, right? That is how vehemently desperate and vicious those who would hold on to fossil fuels and the incredibly profitable industries that surround it, right? That is the mentality of these folks. That is how desperately they wish to hold on to the old paradigm, right? Because it affords them power and control. And in reality, we have afforded them that. That's the reality, folks. If we stop giving our power to these systems, if we start saying, wait a minute, hold on. It actually is important that we break ourselves away from these fossil fuels, right? Especially since we know that there are cleaner forms and more efficient forms of energy that we can be utilizing. And that there are forms of energy that we can access for free. That's the part they really don't want you to tap into. Don't take my word for it. It's there. The technologies, the discoveries that would facilitate all of that are there and have been there for years. Suppressed, hidden, you know, and kept from the masses at all costs. All this and all of the constructs of the old paradigm are things that we have to be spiritually mature enough to take responsibility to change. I know we feel like we don't have options in many of these things, but we honestly do. Folks, no one literally forces you to put that gas in your gas tank and go. I know you feel like you have to do it to continue to live your life, but really stop and think about the act of consension. You are giving your consent to continue these old linear systems that ultimately are going to are lending their energy to keeping you subjugated. This is going to take spiritual maturity, folks. Really, it's time to be adult. Adult isn't going around with a scowl on your face all day, you know, bitching and moaning about the fact you got to pay bills and how many hours of work you just put in. I've been there. I understand that. I know what it is to work 50, 60 hours a week. You can't tell me nothing about that. Started working when I was 12 years old. I understand it's not easy. Of course it's not easy. If it were easy, we would have escaped this system long ago. It has been intricately put in place on so many levels. And furthermore, the fact that it couldn't be any different has been instilled in your mind in layers from the time you could communicate to today. You know, it is literally pushed on the masses to be a perception that there simply is no other way. There is no other paradigm, but I'm here to tell you there is. There is, but it requires your adult spiritual maturity to take back your consent and say, no, we want it this way. We do not wish to continue to live in a paradigm that serves the socio-economic elite who are only keeping their foot on the neck of the masses and have done so and have continued to set up systems to keep that perpetuated. Right? And then have gone so insidious as to turn you against one another to keep their systems in place. Give you a little taste, a little bit of the sweet of the pot to make you feel like, oh, this is where it's good at. This is where your bread's buttered at. When in reality, they just continue to make you a slave and make you and make you be their slave masters over others. Anytime you crush someone's perception other than this linear system, that's exactly what you're doing. You are mentally helping to keep another person enslaved by crushing their desire to live another way. Unless, of course, they're strong enough to not let you do that. But, folks, the point is that we're all in that design being used to fight one another. That's why the divide and conquer scheme is truly their method, right? As many ways as they can keep me fighting you and him fighting her and her fighting him and him fighting him and her fighting her, all that, all the ways they keep us lost in separation mentality, only keep us distracted while they continue putting more layers on mentally, putting more constructs in socioeconomically, controlling your paradigm. But now all that can change. For one, just the fact that we know about it now, right? On a widespread basis and growing every day. And going to keep growing because of folks like me and you. Right? That's something new. These things were not a major part of average conversations. When I say average, I mean conversations that you would observe amongst average people on a daily basis. But now they are. What do you think the whole... If keeping these things secret and hidden wasn't important, why do you think they go through such lengths to keep them hidden? They form secret societies. They take blood oaths. They folks, the extents to which these things have been kept hidden, and I'm only giving you small bits and pieces of what's been hidden, of course, right? But the fact that they go through such extreme lengths to hide it should lend some sort of a clue to you as to how important it is. The fact that they have institutions that dominate how your everyday lives are lived in order to continue the paradigm that keeps those linear systems in place that benefit them. And if Spock were talking about it, he would say, wait a minute, this is not logical. This is the benefit, this is the needs of the few outweighing the needs of the many. That's what their whole paradigm is about, folks. Truly. You have the most self-centered, myopic, single-visioned individuals running the planet. But they don't have to be. Because now you know about it, so you don't have to continue to allow it. You don't have to continue to give your permission for it. You don't have to continue to give your consent. What am I talking about? You don't have to support a political system that doesn't support you. That's clear cut, no other way to say it, period. Accept nothing less than widespread, sweeping reform and change. Simply accept no less. There's certainly nobody forcing you to walk into the ballot box and say, oh, I'm still okay with this. Don't do it. don't do it. When you see something that resonates with you, that's high vibrational frequency, that you feel all right lending your support to, then do that. But until you do, don't fold or crease. Folks, I'm telling you, you have all the power you always have. They are nothing. When I say they, I mean the social economic elite are nothing without you. I spoke before about the power that if everyone decided to take just one day and make literally no purchases whatsoever, you simply do not purchase anything, the system would collapse. One day. Ask any economist if worldwide no one purchased anything for a 24-hour period on the entire planet. Now, you can say this is fanciful. I'm not talking about whether or not it would happen or not. I'm trying to get you to see the power you hold. If you can collapse this system in one day, then you certainly have the power to change it, to reform it, to reshape it, to remake it, be what you want it to be. Freedom is yours to take. Not physically, not by violence. It's here and here that the change has to happen. And when you do that and begin to think, feel, make decisions, and live your life in sovereignty, folks, that's the new paradigm. That's a paradigm that the isms will no longer steer you toward fighting against one another. Where unity consciousness does in fact take precedent over separation mentality. Where there is no more divide and conquer. Where there is no more perpetuation of problems that we have the means to solve. People do not have to die from starvation on this planet. They don't. We have an entire planet capable of producing food. Stop and think about it. Folks do not have to be sleeping outside on the ground, cold, in some cases dying, so that others can live with so much space they don't even visit parts of their house. Come on, folks. I'm not against living good and being wealthy and enjoying the fruits of your labor or any of that. But everything has to have some point where it comes around cyclically, or it's linear, and it's going to lead to a finite end. And we see what that is. The finite end is the misery, pain, suffering, and hate of all those who have to furnish and fuel the lavish lifestyles of these folks I'm talking about. And again, check my videos, folks. I'm not waging a war on millionaires. Millionaires are not the socio-economic elite. Huh? We gotta wake up. Many are. By the millions worldwide. Huh? Hold up. Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I had to get that one off. That wasn't rehearsed. None of it is, actually. Man, I love you all, and I just want to see you free. Because you deserve it, and right now you can be. Right now you can be. It's consciousness, folks. It's consciousness. It's not fantasy. I understand many of you simply don't have the scientific background or maybe even the interest to learn anything about quantum sciences, quantum mechanics, quantum biology, etc. or to point to any of the other scientific disciplines that denote the profound change on this planet and in human beings on this planet. Astrology, astronomy, etc. Archaeology.